Everybody, can you hear us? Can you hear us on Zoom? We good? Perfect. All right, welcome to using large language models in meteorological fact-finding, presented by Zekai Otles. I am David Berg, a BI developer with SMPH, member of both the marketing and speaker support committees and the website and platform committee, and also moderator for today's session. After the presentation, we'll have just a little bit of time for some Q&A. If you are joining us virtually, please place your questions in the chat, and I'll read them to our presenters. If you are joining us in person, just raise your hand and we'll make sure that your question is answered. So I'd like to introduce Zekai. He is a research CI consultant with information technology, and with this presentation, Zekai was excited to return to his roots as he was able to use some of the weather data from his native country of Turkey as part of this project. So without further ado, Zekai.
Yeah, thank you very much, David. And then thanks for everyone coming here, actually, listening to me. This discussion actually started with a very simple, the Teams meeting, actually. We were looking at the data. When was the, largest snowfall happen in Madison, Wisconsin? Even though David said, it's just going back to the roots of Turkey, but where I use the data is actually, they were very crucial in my life. That's what I will just use it. But the discussion started from our CTO, and then Casey Schechter, and then Todd Schechter, sorry, and then Casey. And basically, we were trying to figure it out. When was the largest, snowfall happen in Madison, Wisconsin? And then we started, a Google search. We did, some, that time, ChatGPT, just coming out. We looked at that. And then that's what that triggered, this discussion. From that discussion, I carried on this one, really, basically doing more work. And then I asked my son to help me out one of the things. And then he's a large language modeler. And then I will just talk to you about those kind of things. That's why it just really excited me, how, from my background and then day-to-day talk, just something in a weather and that kind of stuff. And beginning with the large language models is really it's just using the neural networking on the large data set. It's just technical difficulties. It doesn't. Anyhow, large language, when David is just, large language model is used quite a bit now, text and then documents and image information, and people are started using quite heavily. And then right now, I think we are just facing a little bit really going up a high trend, and then people are gonna use it more and more, and that's really I mean, this is just this is a new technology. It's a disruptor, as we had it .com time, actually, this is a new disruptor. And then it's coming into the many fields. It's just coming into the marketing, but it's also coming into the research. That's why really it's very important for us to be in the front of the, the trend. But basically, this one is really can be used extracting data. You can just really simple, maybe you have an SQL statements. You can just really have a template and then just really have that one written by the large language models or ChatGPT type stuff. I think where I'm gonna come on this one, how we can use this models for decision making, and then really utilize some of the tools I am gonna demonstrate. What I did actually, we had 4 questions, and then looking at the meteorological data, and then get those from the. I will tell you where I got those data set, and then from the. And then we asked basically what is the maximum temperature observed in a day. and then what is the minimum temperature observed in a day, and then also rainfall, largest rainfall, and largest snowfall. From that perspective, I took 5 stations, and then I get those data sets from the actually. I will go back to here, but just like. You can do this kind of search like really from the Google, like say, okay, what was the largest, or maximum temperature, like in Ankara. You can write it in like Turkish or in English, and then you can just like it will get a result to you. And then also like same thing, like those 4 prompts, like what I was asking, you can do it to the ChatGPT too, and then it will give you results. And most of the time, because ChatGPT, like right now I am using ChatGPT Enterprise version, the paid version, and they are using the databases. They are building up their data, the same as like Google is like building their data set. And then they will answer you if they know the really the data. That's why they were just like, okay, this is what's happening. And then if you look at it here in the ChatGPT, it will just give you the really the results. Say, okay, I cannot see it very well in like my screen because it's small, but it will give you the date for that prompt. And sometimes ChatGPT will not really give you result. It will say, okay, I don't have any information or something like that, or it could be hallucinating too actually, and that could happen too. What I've done actually, basically, I told to you guys just really where those data sets are important to me, because where I was born, Ankara, Turkey, I picked it up the data, and then also Erzurum, where my family came from, and then also Istanbul, where I graduated, and then now where I live in Madison, Wisconsin, and also where my sons and then his family live in Ann Arbor, Michigan. I got those data sets from the National Center of Environmental Prediction Institution, and then got those data sets from there, but just really looking at that data set to figure it out, those 4 prompts: maximum temperatures observed, minimum temperature observed, and that kind of stuff. One thing is just really different. What we are suggesting here is deriving your ChatGPT, in this case ChatGPT 4, with the data. Instead of really relying on what it is available to Google and then what are available to the ChatGPT itself. When you when I was really asked the first question at the beginning of the talk, saying what was the largest snowfall in Madison? That time it was really giving wrong answers in my mind. And then I think I looked at the data and no, it doesn't make sense. What I did that moment, I got the data from the University of Wisconsin climatological site, and then tried to figure it out, actually writing a Python program, and then got the the points when was the largest snowfall. That's what I look at it. Oh, there is something going on here. I need to be really identifying this issue, saying, okay, really they don't have the data. They cannot predict anything because they don't have the data. And then just going to the base of the data set, and then you can figure it out. That's why it drives me getting the data, meteorological data from National Center, and then just applying to a data-driven approach to the ChatGPT. ChatGPT 4 with the paid version, you will be able to load the data, and then basically that will allow you to analyze the data set. And this way you can just really putting in your data. I think this way you will say, okay, based on your data set, this is the time, this is the this is the prompt, or what you are looking at, maximum temperature observed, minimum temperature, and that kind of stuff. That's what it just really the information came. One other thing with the enterprise, ChatGPT, it can give you the actually code how the model is predicted that values. So you can use those like, byproduct, actually, like I will say like phase 4 approach, and because that's what like, I was hoping to get answer, but also it gave me a like product which I can use a similar data set, because it looks at the data set, okay, this is the like feature you are using or data variables you are using. Now like I'm using this model or this algorithm to estimate this. That's what like really, there's another point there, like you can use as a byproduct of that, and then you can say, okay, like really you got this actually like byproduct, and you can use it. I am going to like really like just now results, like when you go look at it, this actually like table, it's just like I said, like Google search, ChatGPT like with the free version, and then also like model driven, like or data driven ChatGPT. If you look at the top, it's just like really all red. That means like they are not agreement. We are not in agreement because either like the Google, ChatGPT, they are not in the same data, they are not using the same data set or something else. I have no idea what happens with the Google algorithm. I don't have any idea about the ChatGPT too. But there is like really some of the things like, you will see those kind of things. We need to do more. And as you can see, like, really starting like in Ann Arbor, like, that actually this is the maximum temperature observed in a day. It seems like they are getting very similar. I want to tell you one thing at the, if you look at the bottom of the Madison, Wisconsin, all are the predicting almost the same, because like Google is saying that the same temperature, like the when was the largest snowfall, and that was like 17.3 inches. It was like December 31st, 1990. And then Google saying that, ChatGPT free version is also, ChatGPT 4 is saying that, also data-driven approach. Even though here, like, they all come the same agreement or validated the same agreement, but I have no idea what ChatGPT 4 was using the data as a data set, and then also like really Google. What I have picked it up, like the data set, it was coinciding exactly when they were like, in this case, the maximum snowfall. That's why it's really important for like really realizing that. It's just like really, even though like, they might just conclude the same result, that is also like really, you have to be very, very cautious for this result set. Even though this was like really initial, the problem, like I was trying to answer. Like really, this is the triggering. I should be very happy. Okay, all of them coming together and then really agreement. But I think that's really, still I have to be cautious. I think this is like really a great tool to use with your own data set. Just make sure you are clean, like, your data set. And then even you you apply this LLM or ChatGPT, but just make sure really to understand what you are getting in. And then also like really something like ChatGPT producing algorithms and then the programs, understand what you get, how to use it. And then maybe like, you can really just like give this stuff to like your manager or decision makers, so they can say, okay, I have this data set, I have this code, it worked, and then basically you don't have to write the code, that kind of things. It's just like, it's very useful. I will tell you, like, I have a background in atmospheric science, and then I am really like very observational, and still like really we can use this one for experimental data and that kind of stuff. And I think like maybe David put it already into like chat. There's a study like I think it was done like maybe 2001 in somebody Iowa State, where I was actually, and then they used like that time is the deep learning, which I was involved a little bit that time there too. They used actually like really Professor Tackley that time used for predicting the frost over the bridge. and very close to the Iowa City, Cedar Rapids area, because there was quite a bit like traffic accident, like, just the frost and that kind of stuff. And then they were using temperature and wind to like, the estimate like, frost happening. And I think they did like really, those are the things like, you will see something like that, even though like, 25 years ago. But I think today's technology will help just to solve other problems. I think it will be beneficial to think that way. Thank you very much.
Are there any questions before we jump into the next?
I had a quick question.
Sure.
In one of the screenshots you showed, you were asking like highest rainfall, highest snowfall, and then the answer said, assuming like above freezing temperature, is that an assumption that the model made in order to get you that answer, or did you tell the model to make that?
I did not. I think because I cannot see like my slides that well here, because if you remember like at the like maybe third slide, it was just like there were a couple like 4 prompts actually. That's what like I was asking. I think like all the other interpretation from ChatGPT for that point on. Yeah, no problem.
All right, let's move to the next topic. Thank you so much.